Hi everyone, it's me, Red Buttercup. Today we're gonna deep dive into all the Powerpuff Girls and Rowdyruff Boys references inside Multiverse as best as I can. I did a lot of research on this and had to rewatch some of the episodes and had to find a lot of the pictures for this to show proof of what I'm talking about and referencing at. So please give this video a like and subscribe because this video was very tedious to make. I don't usually do deep dive videos like this. It's all for the sake of the Powerpuff Girls. This video is coming from a major fan of the Powerpuff Girls series. I've been a fan since I was 3 years old and been on the fandoms for ages now. As if you can tell by my profile icon. But without further ado, let's actually get started into the deep dive. So this is the character select icon for the Powerpuff Girls. As you can see, this is very well made. It is all painted from scratch and I really love that. So as for the poses of the girls, Blossom is posed as this picture over here. And Bubbles, well, Bubbles is very common. You see this pose from Bubbles in literally every merch you see. It's literally everywhere, in anything you can imagine. And as for Buttercup, that's straight up from The Day is Saved, thanks to the Powerpuff Girls. It's straight up from that pose. And it's very overused by every render you see of Buttercup. Moving on to the Rowdyruff Boys character icon, it is a direct reference to this render over here. They have the exact poses and everything. Again, it looks very great. So, Rift mode, the story mode of the multiverse. When you enter the Rift mode, you see these illustrations of the girls, and there's also him, Mojo Jojo, Rowdyruff Boys in the background, which oddly reminds me of Papa Z3. Don't worry about it, it's a fan game. It's also about a 3D fighting game with Powerpuff Girls, so don't worry about it. And in the background you see Mayor's Pickle, beloved Pickle. There's also Octi, Bubbles' favorite plush toy, and there's also the hotline that the girls talk in before getting into missions. There's a lot of Powerpuff Girls references into it. So one of the references I want to point out is this one. What the heck was Blossom even thinking about? This is a dialogue towards Rick and Morty. She was talking about Rift stealing some things, and Blossom just says this to him, and it looks very inappropriate out of context. Which, of course, is not Powerpuff Girls without weird jokes.
Alright, Mayor, let's have a look at that pickle.
So the next dialogue that I want to highlight is the reference to the driving thing. They actually have drove cars before, surprisingly, even though they can fly. So once they drove into a Cartoon Network racing game, that was a thing. And second was the Nintendo one. And the third one was from the anniversary episode where Professor was being crazy. That episode was very unhinged. Well, that's all I can say. So the other reference I want to talk about is Joker. If you didn't know, Powerpuff Girls was going to have an episode about Joker from DC Universe. This episode was scrapped because Warner Brothers did not like the idea and had to scrap their whole episode. So that was very sad that it got scrapped and we didn't get to see Joker interacting with the Powerpuff Girls. But hey, at least it finally happened. They are kind of crossovering. Now to the next one. It's about the reference they talk about the golf. Professor playing golf. And if you don't know, Blossom got arrested for that. She stole a golf bag and got arrested.
To the Powerpuff Girls! Well, 2 of them at least.
Blossom going to prison. That's lovely. The Rift Mode minigame is actually a reference to a bunch of Powerpuff Girls games in the past. There was a Flash game based around shooting robots with your laser eyes. There was another Game Boy game about switching between the girls and you beating them with your laser eyes or punching, which wow, I did not expected them to reference this kind of minigame inside Multiverse, which is really a good thing. They're putting a lot of effort into this. Really love that, paying homage to all of the Powerpuff Girls genre and game. Love that. We are going to move on to the animations of Powerpuff Girls and Rowdyruff Boys. Then you select the character. When you select them, Powerpuff Girls do their iconic pose.
The Powerpuff Girls were born using their ultra superpowers.
So the Rowdyruff Boys intro animation reminds me of when the boys are back in town episode, where they stand on top of a mountain. That's what it kind of reminds me of. Although they kind of look a bit different here. Now moving on to the winning poses. The winning poses is a very obvious reference to the day is saved thanks to the Powerpuff Girls.
So once again, the day is saved thanks to the Powerpuff Girls.
And as for the Rowdyruff Boys, it's a reference to their own end credit scene. Their end credit scenes goes as the day is doomed thanks to the Rowdyruff Boys, and the skull shows up instead of a heart.
The day is doomed thanks to the Rowdyruff Boys.
Moving on to the losing animations. So Bubbles cries after losing, and Blossom looks at her and actually hugs her and kisses her. Oops, sorry. So Blossom looks at her, looks at Bubbles, and starts crying as well, because she is very empathetic. Which is a great nod to that. And Buttercup is just looking at both of them, trying not to cry herself out, and she's just kind of mad that she lost. But it is a very great contrast to each of their personality. I really love that detail. Moving on, Rowdyruff Boys is losing animation. This animation is completely new and never been on an episode before or any reference to that, and it's kind of uncharacteristic of them to do this, because Brick is the one who always hits Boomer. Actually, Boomer is the one who attacks Butch in the first place, and Brick tries to stop both of them. Brick is the one who causes a lot of pain to Boomer in the first place, so that's interesting. Moving on to the Powerpuff Girls' Movelist. So we're actually getting to the character and their animations and their combos and everything. Every special move. So, there's dance animations, idol animations. Blossom, Bubbles, and Buttercup are posed all together. They're not separate anymore in this game. They're all mixed together into one character. And in this game, you can switch between them, like how you did in other old Powerpuff Girls game, which is a very great reference to that and homage to that, because in every game of Powerpuff Girls, you can always switch between the other girls as a leader. You did that in Powerpuff Girls Pickle Relish? Pickle Rampage or something called like that. It was in that game. It was also in that Flash game that I mentioned earlier. They also swapped leaders in Mojo Jojo Agogo, and also in Him and Seek. They also swapped leaders in that one and have their own abilities and everything, with their own debuffs and buffs. I will get into that later. So, as for their idol animations, so it's actually an actual render of Blossom sitting like this. And as for Bubbles and Buttercup, Bubbles, I think these are the poses Bubbles are properly doing as to what I could find on the internet, because she does this pose a lot. I don't know how to exactly find the right picture of Bubbles like this. There's so many. So as for Buttercup, I know what poses she is doing. It's her very typical pose to do. And when you switch into Bubbles, her idol animation is this sitting animation, which is actually not a part of this trio sitting renders. And as for the Blossom, her animation is a reference to this picture over here. And if you switch up to Buttercup, you will do this sitting animation. So, moving on to the jumping animations. They fly up in the air and fly down. Crouching. Crouching kind of reminds me of one of the episodes. And it looks like a very typical pose for them, so I don't know where to find that exact pose. Neutral attack. Neutral attack is when you don't do any directional moves, just press the attack button. You can hold this attack and they will charge into the enemy like that. And I think this is a reference to that Buttercup or even Bubbles' render when she like kicks like this. So as for the down special attack, you can switch sisters between the girls and you can change the leader. And every leader has her own abilities. Blossom is very balanced between speed and knockbacks. Bubbles is very speed focused. She's very fast and will go more higher and reach more higher places and have less knockbacks, but she is very fast at things. As for Buttercup, she is kind of slow. Her attacks do more damage and knock back people more, but she can't go higher or have some difficulties through jumping. When you switch sisters, Blossom does the reboot pose in that one. As for Bubbles switching the leader pose, I'm not sure about her pose. It looks like this piece of art here. I'm not sure if this is a fan art or is this official work, because I've never seen this image before. But it does look very familiar to this pose. So if this is a fan art, so I am very sorry that I used this. So Buttercup's pose is a reference to, the closest thing I found is from the movie, is when the Powerpuff Girls dress up at the end of the movie. So down attack is when the leader grabs the phone and smacks it to the hotline. Bubbles, Buttercup, or any of the girls will go on to left and right to attack from both sides. This is a reference to the episodes when mostly Blossom is the one who picks up the hotline. That's most of her thing to do. But there has been times where Bubbles picked up the hotline and it never really went well when she did that. And as for Buttercup, she rarely has, but she did pick up hotline before. One time she picked up as cosplaying as Blossom. So, up attack. The leader will punch upwards and the other sisters will go into a tornado motion and do an uppercut. I think the pose that the leader is making is a reference to the Bubbles render over here. Up attack is the same pose, but the sisters won't do a tornado motion. Up special, it's when the Powerpuff Girls all dash upwards to the sky. I think this is a reference to this callback over here, due to this reference. Air up special, they do the same thing up in the air if you press the button. Air neutral attack is when they do a whole circle motion where all the girls will hold hands and spin around. It's called Ring Around the Rosies, and they have done this attack a lot of times before. And it kind of reminds me of Rizzle Dazzle from that one episode with Dynamo. Let Live Dynamo, I think it's called.
Remind me never to do that again.
But this attack has been done before in a video game before, in Mojo Jojo Agogo, and they also did this one in the episode with Rowdyruff boys. Rowdyruff boys also can do this attack.
Come on, guys! We can't let a bunch of dumb girls show us up!
Air side attack. So this attack, I really couldn't find the most exact pose for this, but I think they have like grabbed onto each other and used as an attack before or something like that, but I'm not sure where to find it. These are the closest things I could find and what I could remember. There's one in the Cartoon Network racing game that kind of looks like it. Close enough. I'm sorry, but these are the closest things I could find. So, air down attack. This attack is a reference to the Whoop-Ass Girls. If you don't know what Whoop-Ass Girls is, Whoop-Ass Girls, it is the pilot episode of the Powerpuff Girls, and it started everything from there. So, I really love that callback to the Whoop-Ass Girls. Air down special. Both of the girls get switched places, and the main leader comes in and flips and does a uppercut to the enemy. I think this pose could be a reference to this Bubbles pose. So the side combo attack. Well, this kind of combo has been done before in a bunch of episodes, so I don't know what exact combo or what kind of clip to pull up for this. Because there's a lot of times the girls did this, and I don't know what exact episode was it from. They did this a lot, I think, and I don't know. This looks like a very typical Powerpuff Girls combo, and I couldn't able to find exact replica or pose of it. So sorry. So side special is when the leader commands the other sister to dash towards the enemy and pick the enemy up. It depends what leader you are and what sister you are. So if you're Blossom, she will command the enemy to throw down the enemy. And if you're Bubbles, Bubbles will command Blossom to throw the enemy towards Bubbles. And if you're Buttercup, Buttercup will command Bubbles to throw the enemy up in the air. Also, I think when the leader commands, this pose reminds me of this Buttercup render poses. So the air side special, the leader will do the same thing. They will command the sister to dash towards the enemy. And if it hits the enemy in the air, all the girls will dash into the enemy instead of sister grabbing the enemy to the air or to the ground or to the leader. I think this dashing animation could be a reference to one of the flying animations for the Powerpuff Girls. So dash attack is a reference to the episode from the Rowdyruff Boys. They kick the Rowdyruff Boys in the jaw. Just iconic. It's just so iconic. I love this freaking reference. They can also do this in the air too. Neutral special is when they do their own unique attack. Blossom does ice breath. Fun fact, Blossom isn't the only one who can pull off an ice breath anymore. Bubbles has actually used ice breath in Dance Pants. So that's very interesting. Blossom isn't the only one with ice breath anymore. Also, Buttercup can also like blow wind from her mouth. Does that count as a special power? Does it? Because she like blows air and it becomes a tornado. So does that count as a superpower? I think it counts in my book. Buttercup has something special after all. Wow, who knew? And Bubbles can use Sonic Scream. Bubbles' Sonic Scream is not exclusive to Bubbles. Blossom and Buttercup both have done Sonic Scream before. And as for Buttercup, Buttercup uses laser attacks. Laser attack is a very common attack from the girls. It is used very frequently from the girls. And I don't know why they chose laser eyes to be purple. Why is it purple? It was never before purple. it always been red or the girl's color, like green, blue, or pink, depending on the girl. It's never been purple before. Why did they make it purple? That's questionable. They could have made it easily red or green, but they chose purple for some reason. Air neutral special, you can do the same attack in air. And here are the clips of the dodge animation. One of the dodge animation where you down dodge in the air reminds me of this sitting position inside Dynamo. So moving on to the two emotes. Rowdyruff Boys does the same emote as the girls. So the default emotes are the girls doing the iconic "The Day Is Saved" animation. The second emote is a reference to the render of them sitting on the table in Pokio's kindergarten. They're doing a project together, drawing together. It's very cute. And speaking of drawing, Bubbles builds up a freaking crayon box. They centered a whole episode about crayons before, and a very good song around it. So the voice line references, one of the introduction voice lines is when Bubbles says she is a
I'm gonna be the prettiest girl at the party. You're gonna eat your words, spit them out, and eat them again. You girls are gonna eat your words, spit them out, and eat them again. You know, beating people up for fun is really fun.
Man, beating up people for fun is really fun!
Bubbles, you know he's gone! I'm hardcore now! I think I may have swallowed a bug!
The fifth reference is Blossom saying "tag, you're it," and Bubbles "can't catch me" is a reference to the girls playing tag in the Powerpuff Girls movie, to what I think it means. Because when they first played tag together, they unleashed their superpowers and destroyed the whole freaking town. Yeah, a lot bad happened. And Mojo took, and Mayor took a very good revenge by putting the professor in jail and making the girls homeless. How kind of him. Well, he really takes his pickles very seriously. On to the next one is crossover. So one of the crossovers, Jack, they have met before. They met before in a commercial once.
Oh, I'm just saying.
Oops. Sorry about that.
They also met in Punch Time Explosion together, in another fighting game that is very close to Multiversus. It is like also like a Smash Bros kind of game, platform fighting game. So that is very interesting that they also partake in the same crossover game. So next crossover I'm going to talk about is Wonder Woman. They met Wonder Woman before. And Blossom is a fan of Wonder Woman, side note. But the interaction with Wonder Woman was very, well, I'm going to put the clip here.
You girls are developing into quite the superheroes.
Someday we'll be as developed as you!
Yeah, it's not Powerpuff Girls without any adult jokes. And for the next one is Gremlins. Not the first time the Powerpuff Girls met the Gremlins. Buttercup interacted with one of the Gremlins in the Lego game. It's technically the reboot Powerpuff Girls, but I guess it still counts. They still met each other. So next on is the Townsville Map. There's so many references into that map. Well, first of all, Miss Bellum just walks inside the Townsville Hall. You can just see her, spot her walking past it. First of all, I did not notice that before. And the credit goes to this video maker over here. So they made a video before me. And yeah, the credit goes to them for pointing these things out. And one thing they did not get right was the clock. The clock is from the Riddle Diddle episode. Also, there's a cockroach beside Miss Bellum. The pillar is a reference to one of the cockroach episodes where that stupid robot tries to take over the world. The other reference is the cat. You can actually I saw this cat in the trailer before, and that cat is very freaking evil. He made Professor Therian, basically. He all acts like a cat and everything. And next to the evil cat is Mare's favorite pickle shack. He loves to visit. Also, Mojo is in a saucer. He has been in that sort of saucer so many times before. Okay, so they had two commercial pictures for the promotional pictures for the girls. One was in the trailer, I think, and one was Battle Pass you can get to get Rowdyruff boys. So first of all, I'll start with the Rowdyruff one. So Blossom's pose is a very, very classic pose to Blossom. It also appeared in Cartoon Network Explosion, Punchtime Explosion too. The exact pose. And this Bubbles pose is a render to this Bubbles pose. This Buttercup pose is a very generic flying pose of Buttercup. And I don't know about Brick and Boomer. Brick is a very traditional crossing arms pose, he always does this. But Butch's pose reminds me of the Punchtime Explosion's jumping animation. So as for another promotional art was this pose. And this was inside the trailer of the Powerpuff Girls, where they got revealed. Skins. They have a Dynamo suit skin. It's not the first time they appear in the game. It was the first time they appeared was in the game Powerpuff Girls Relish Rampage. They wore the suits with their classic colors, but the goggles were red. But they do look very cool. In the multiverse, they are separated into their primary colors, which is odd. Why did they stick with the original palette? All of them, it was like supposed to be a uniform for all of them to share the same color because they're inside a dynamo in the mech suit. So I don't know why they separated the colors, wherein the different, like, these skins are so freaking identical and similar. Like, if they can do these with these skins, why not make the dynamo suits originally their color? Also, one thing I want to point out is one of the platinum skins looks very oddly similar to my OC Rainbow, which I made for a video game that I did, a fighting video game that I did. So, on to the skin ideas. So my number one skin idea and must have in this game is the Powerpuff Girls. We need to see them again, okay? They first debuted in the Warner Brothers DC Comics. Powerpuff Girls have their own DC Comics. They partner up with the Warner Brothers and they have their own comics for years now. They were in the comic Deja Vu, and this is their only appearance in any media ever, which is very sad because I wanted to see more of them. They were a rejected idea for an episode. They were going to appear in an episode that got cancelled because of the movie. Because of the budget of the movie, it got cancelled. So they couldn't introduce the Powerpuff Girls to us because of it. And I really want them to be in anything, please. Please make them into the multiverse. I really want them to appear in anything. Like it's been decades they appeared in any media. They only appeared in one comic and that's it. I want them so bad, okay? They need to be in this game. Please make them into a skin. As for their voices, I'm pretty sure they're just alternate universes of the Powerpuff Girls, so they would have the same voices but be meaner or have different tones to them probably. But if they don't even add voices to them, at least please add the skins. I really want them. They look so cool. They look so stylish. I want them. Please make it happen. So the second idea for skins is Steam Puff Girls. So I would love that as an outfit. The third idea for the skin is Super Zeros. It is the most iconic costumes for the girls. As for the fourth skin, it's Dream in Style. If you forgot, these skins were from a commercial way back in 2000s. They were depicted as teens in that commercial. They look so fabulous in it to me. So that would be really great as a skin. The Teen Puffs. This is a reference to the episode where they remember stuff. So if you want a Rowdyruff boy idea skin, like the tiny versions of them, but you can wear their clothes. Like that would be a great idea as a skin, right? Next skin idea is winter outfits. This is a reference to one of the Christmas episodes and books that they had. I had that book in a very long time ago. There was an episode around this whole Christmas thing too. They also had snowboarding outfits from a Flash game way back when that was a thing on Cartoon Network website. So the next idea is the opposite of winter, summer. Their swimsuit outfits with their glasses. This is a reference to the tanning episode where they get tanned because they were so close to the sun because they were destroying meteors to save the world. And so the next idea for skin is the cowgirls. They were inside the merch. The next one is run-of-the-mill girls where they look like humans and are very average little girls. How Professor intended it to be. Not some super girls, just perfect little girls, which is an obvious reference to this girl over here that everybody forgets about. It's from the pilot episode of the Powerpuff Girls. McCracken was thinking to had a criticism from the children who watched the pilot episodes and gave criticisms about the girls that they don't look like little girls, that they look alien-y. But they did create these designs for them and they scrapped it until they reused it again in an episode. So the next idea for is, what if they made every girl as the other Powerpuff Girls, as for example, Bullet, the squirrel, Bunny, remember her? She freaking died. And Perfect Little Girl as a potential third girl? Or they could use Dynamo, miniaturized Dynamo into the third girl. That would be interesting. Next skin idea is classic Rowdyruff boys with their ponytail, no hair, only hat and boomer different hairstyle. All the old hairstyles and make them darker for peace sake. Why are they lighter in their skins? They look very close to the girls. Like Brick has normal blossom eyes. Same for Boomer. They look like girls are cosplaying as the Rowdyruff boys. They should make their eyes darker, their outfits more darker. Why can't they do that? They also had this problem with Punch Time Explosion skins from that game. It's not their first time Rowdyruff boys were made as a skin in a fighting game before. So yeah. Next idea is party outfits. It's from the episode Opti is Gone, I think. And it's where the whole voice line came from. And the 14th idea is the Dance Pants episode. Like they could use their designs as the skin, or like they could use also the robot ones too, like where they were all robotized by the robotic pants. So yeah, so these were my skin ideas for the girls. That what could they do with their skins? They have very potential what they could do with the skins, and I've seen other characters in this game that have so many good skins in this game, but there are also skins that are very lazy, that I have to admit. But I hope they do justice for the girls, and please don't do anything like, don't do ridiculous. But yeah, this is the finally a very good justice for the original Powerpuff Girls. Like it's been like, I hated the reboot. Like I will say I hated the reboot, what they did with the girls. So we're finally getting some justice with the original Powerpuff Girls, and finally we're getting it. And I'm so freaking happy that this finally happened. They're in a fighting game again. Their personality are still intact. They are still back, better than ever. With the same voice actors, the same feeling, the same vibe. All of the references are so freaking good. And I'm sorry that I couldn't get all of the reference right. There are some things that I probably didn't get right. So I'm very sorry about that. So yeah, this video was from a very major fan of the Powerpuff Girls and the Powerpuff Girls community. And I hope you really enjoyed this video, because I put a lot of effort into it. I put a lot of research into it. It took me way too many days to work on this video. I was trying to compile everything, okay? And I hope you really enjoyed it. I hope you like and subscribe. And yeah. I hope you guys to see you soon. And goodbye. Bye guys.
Head in the other direction! Your pea-sized brain has clearly led us down the wrong path! Turn around! Cease! Mojo knows best. He also knows you're a moron! Uh-huh? Your pea-sized brain has clearly led us down the wrong